Hi everyone, welcome to our next question. So today's question will also be on ionic equilibrium and is testing on the strength of salts. Okay, so let's look at the question first. Which of the following correctly lists 0.1 mole per dm cube solutions of HCl, KCl, NH4Cl, KOH, and KCN in order of increasing pH? Okay, so looking here, we can see two things that stands out, HCl and KOH. We know that HCl is a strong acid and KOH is a strong base. The other three seem to be salts, so the other three we are not very sure. However, we know that definitely in this list, HCl being the strong acid will have the lowest pH and KOH being a strong base will have the highest pH. So therefore, I can eliminate D. And I'm left with A, B, and C. So next, the three salts. Write it down. KCl, NH4Cl, and KCN. So when looking at salts, we need to find the first cation first. Okay, so let me draw a small table. Okay, so let's look at KCl first. The cation is K+. So where did it come from? So we understand that a salt is formed from most likely the reaction of a acid and a base. So if this KCl is formed from the reaction of acid and a base, where does the K+ come from? We know that then most likely it comes from a strong base like KOH. Agree? And then for the anion is Cl-. So it most likely comes from HCl, which is a strong acid. So you realize that this is a reaction between a strong base and a strong acid. Hence, a strong acid and strong base come together to give you a neutral salt. Okay, of pH 7. So this would be the most straightforward. Next, let's look at NH4Cl. For NH4Cl, the cation is NH4+, and the anion is Cl-. For the cation, it most probably came from NH3, which is a weak base. And for Cl-, it most likely came from HCl, which is a strong acid. So this is the reaction between a weak base and a strong acid. Therefore, you can remember it easily as, since the acid is stronger, it will overpower the base and the salt will also be acidic. So it will give you an acidic salt with pH less than 7. However, that is only a technique to help you to remember. The actual reasoning is because the conjugate. So my NH3 is my weak base. So NH4+ is my conjugate acid of the weak base. So this conjugate acid of a weak base will undergo slight hydrolysis in water. So take note, since it's slight hydrolysis, it has to be a reversible arrow to give you NH3 plus H3O plus. So over here, because of the H3O plus ions that are produced, this is acidic. So hence, you have an acidic salt. So this is the reasoning behind it. Next, for KCN, the cation is K+, and the anion is Cn-. So K+ came from KOH, which is a strong base. And Cn- came from a HCN, which is a weak acid. So strong base, weak acid. Okay, so hence, shortcut is that you'll get a basic salt because the base being stronger overpowers the weak acid. Hence, the salt will have a pH of more than 7. However, again, that's only a technique to help you to remember. It is because HCl, being a weak acid, will give Cn-, which is the conjugate base. So the conjugate base of your weak acid Cn- will undergo slight hydrolysis in water to give you HCN and OH-. So this OH- hydroxide ions is responsible for basicity. Therefore, it's basic, and therefore you get a basic salt with pH more than 7. Hence, looking at this, I have a general idea. So I know that HCl is definitely the most acidic. Then the next one will be followed by the acidic salt, which is NH4Cl, and then followed by the neutral salt, which is KCl, followed by the basic salt, which is KCN, and followed by the strong base KOH. Hence, looking at that, my answer is definitely B. Thank you for following us, and see you next time.